the master plan was Iran, and Nasrallah was the coordinator, and Islamic Jihad and Hamas were the executors. We know that there were preparations all around. I don't know at which point there was a decision to start with Hamas and to focus on Hamas. I don't know at which point Hezbollah will join in, but it is clear that the master plan is that everybody will join in. And the big question is, how do we prevent this? Do we only prevent this with deterrence? I think that what happened in Gaza made it very, very clear that the state of Israel can no longer rely on deterrence, because the way these brutal terrorists understand deterrence is completely different than the way we understand deterrence. They don't care about the cost of life. Neither Gazians nor Lebanese, and I'm not even sure Iranians. The plan of Hezbollah was published 10 years ago in Hezbollah's TV in Lebanon, Alma. They published a video that shows that they have 5,000 fighters, actually terrorists, prepared to invade into the state of Israel. In the video, it is seen that they plan to enter into Israeli communities close to the border, around 0 to 10 kilometers from the border, including cities of a few tens of thousands of Israelis. It is said very clearly that they plan to do it with 5 efforts, and with an effort that comes from the sea, just like we've seen with the invasion of Hamas. They also said clearly that they plan to take hostages from these communities into Lebanon that will be used as human shield. This was 10 years ago, and since then what we've seen is that Hezbollah is preparing for this kind of plan, either with the tunnels but also above the ground. We've seen the presence of Hezbollah prepared along the borderline, specifically in the past 2 years, with different kind of positions. We have also seen how, since the war had started, Hezbollah is targeting the surveillance measures of the IDF and other security measures of the IDF along the borderline with its very accurate anti-tank missiles to try to prepare for an invasion. IDF successfully coped with that and started to hunt these anti-tank squads and kill them before they launch or right after the launch. And that's why we see around 60 Hezbollah terrorists already got killed since the war had started. But again, the big question is not for the next 2 weeks. The big question is what will happen within the next 2 months and more if we will not address this threat that comes from the north, and we will just keep it to a limited conflict on the borderline, which is clear we cannot keep 60,000 people outside of their homes forever. Hezbollah declared very clearly, by the way also Hamas, that its ground goal is to eliminate the state of Israel. And that's why it's not about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It's not about that. On the contrary, Hezbollah is using the Palestinians in order to fuel the conflict. Hezbollah couldn't care less about Palestinians. Look what happened in all the previous operations in Gaza. Hezbollah was not involved in this. Why it was not involved? Because it was not within its interest. But now it's different. Now somebody made a decision to put all cards on the table, to go to war that is not just another operation in Gaza. The situation is extremely different. What we experienced is different, and the goal of the enemies is different. If I comparing it to World War II, it was clear to everybody in the world that World War II could not end in a situation that the Nazis still control Germany. It could not end in a situation that Hitler is still alive. It was clear to everybody that a ceasefire would mean peace. Now there is no peace while on the other side there is a monster that just waits to the opportunity to destroy the state of Israel and has the capabilities to create a lot of damage and a massacre here. As long as the world will not hold the terrorist organizations as responsible to what is happening here, everybody will continue to suffer, and eventually it will be at your doorstep. It will be everywhere in the world, because there are already institutions that educate children to hate in Europe, in the United States, in Australia, to hate Western values. This is not a campaign of Israel. It's the campaign of the West against radical ideologies.